What's going on? So I'm just sitting here thinking about this scenario we're in, thinking about everything I've heard, and I've come to a couple of interesting conclusions. I've noticed that a lot of people have to believe the narrative that the world provides. They have to trust in the knowledge that this world gives them. And I was thinking, why? The world's proven itself so untrustworthy, full of so much deception, so many agendas. But yet, people must trust it. And you know what it comes down to is the fact that most people must live in a world where they're the most important thing in it. You see, a lot of people can't handle the fact that there is a creator that's personal to all of us, that gives us a purpose in life outside of ourselves. And let me just give a brief synopsis. A lot of people wonder, why the Bible? Why? And you know, one of the most interesting reasons why the Bible proves so much true to me is that the Bible actually makes me so small. It actually exposes my weaknesses, my own wickedness. It actually aligns with the same revelation that life and experience itself gives me. That I don't know everything. That oftentimes I get into my own situations being led by my own selfish desires. See, I can blame the world all I want. But see, in experience, for the most part, every lie and every deception in the world, you must first have to desire what the world's offering to be led astray by it. Lust, greed, vanity, selfishness, these are the carnal desires the world uses to draw men and women away into temptation, into their own destruction. The Bible warns us not to go along with the course of the world. Well, people say, well, how am I supposed to live? I want to be this. I want to be that. Well, what is a wealthy man without a soul? Without wisdom? Well, he's an oppressor. He's a tyrant. He's what many people hate. A lot of people blame the system being ran by corrupt, wealthy men. Well, what did those men have to give up to acquire that position in life? To become your oppressors? Or what about lust? We're so guilty in that ourselves. Yes, it is how we're wired, but we're warned not to be led astray by that desire. That it is a consequence of us living in a world that hates God, hates our Creator. But look at the evidence in actual life that we have, that our lust has gotten us into headache situations. Many have children with the wrong people, suffering, kids suffering, generational suffering. Why? Because of lust. And it's very interesting with the people and how they need to use the narrative of the world in their knowledge. You know, like many people want to believe that viruses are what the experts and medical professionals tell us. Why? Because these people give studies. Let me give you a couple of quick scenarios. You know what the difference between a medically prescribed opioid and heroin is? Basically that one is dealt by somebody with a degree. That's it. You know, here's another scenario. If somebody said that they're certified to know all about cars and understand how they work, and you went to them, popped your hood, and they just say, I can't help you. I don't know what's going on. How much is that degree worth if they can't actually do anything about it? And that's exactly the situations that these so-called medical professionals and doctors are in right now, who claim to know what's in the best interest of people to do, but yet they have no solutions for the actual disease according to their narrative. They can't fix it. You can't cure it. But yet they think they know everything because we should listen to them because they're certified. But even though they have no applicable knowledge to actually be useful. And what this world is doing, I have my Instagram page up. And you see, what this world is doing is setting it up so that people become to worship the government. They worship it. This is just opening the space for people to worship men. We worship people not by how much they can actually do or their actually usefulness in a situation, but how they qualified by a corrupt world. Oh, if the government puts you out there next to the president, you're an important person. If you don't have to cure anything, you don't have to actually be proven to heal the body, but you went to medical school, you went to a prestigious university, you went to a grad school that's reputable, you did all these things, so you must be right even though you have no useful knowledge. And this is the world we live in. A world of loyalty, of connections, secret societies. This article I have in front of you, it says, New York Governor Cuomo says, we brought the numbers down, not God or faith. Even though there's evidence that they actually assumed or just changed death certificates to reflect the virus based on a guess with no science involved, to just inflate their numbers. Scare tactics. It's just sad that people are in this situation where they are so stuck and indoctrinated to be validated by a world that we all know is pure evil, that they cannot see a lie, even when it's put on billboards and lights, they still will believe it because that lie validates their own hubris, that men can know everything. I'm glad the Bible exposes my nature, because the more I can see my own evil, my own wickedness, the more I can make a choice not to be led astray and exploited by it. People say, well, the Bible is just telling you to believe. Look, the Bible doesn't tell you to do anything. The Bible tells you the consequences of what you choose to do. God gives free will. Life itself is presented in evidence by having choice. That's what life is. Choice. If you weren't making your own choices, there would be no evidence of life. They're one and the same. If God himself, your very creator, will allow you to disobey him, to choose your own destiny, no matter how detrimental or destructive, Why are people saying the Bible just wants? The Bible says no. The Bible says it's just warning you of the choices, the consequences of the choices that you make, of choosing a wise path or choosing a foolish path. You can make the choice, but if you make a foolish choice, the Bible is warning you of the consequences. Your feelings don't change those consequences because you don't like the fact that you can't do bad things and have good results. You can't be led by your carnal nature and expect the best. And that's what angers people. They hate to be exposed. They hate God's spirit that dwells within. It holds them accountable. We all know that we're going to be accountable for the life we live. You don't have to believe in anything. You know that. Your conscience gives you away. People carry guilt holding in lies that no one knows. It eats at them because they know one day they're going to have to make account. They know that you're not getting away with anything evil. People know this. But see, in this world where man is glorified and worshiped, people can feel good. They can ignore the accountability. They can feel as important as they want because of what validation the world gives them. Oh, because you have a certified degree. Well, what is a certified degree of lies worth? The medical industry cannot heal or cure anything. The body, in the right conditions, with the right nutrition, in the right emotional state and mental state, is self-healing. Nothing that is medically part of a doctrine does that. It's all expensive treatments, drugs, and pain management. Surgeries. Things that cause just as much trauma and destruction as they claim to fix. And they're not fixing anything. They're just replacing one issue for another. And I tell people who trust the world's knowledge, how useful is it? How useful is it for you to believe the numbers that agencies and governments are telling you while you're locked in your house? Why they tell you, well, the only solution is a vaccine that's going to be created by some of the most evil, exposed people on the planet who have proven to actually care so little about you, they rather use eugenics on you to lower the world's population. You're expendable, a casualty of a war that has nothing to do with you. And people will still champion the world because the world gives them a platform to feel self-righteous, to feel more intelligent than they've ever proven to be. How useful is knowledge without the wisdom to use it for anything good? A person with a ton of knowledge can do more damage than a fool, because a fool can only harm himself. But an evil, knowledgeable person can harm the world. Without wisdom, you don't know what you're doing is for good or evil. And most of these people, they know that they're doing evil. That's their plan. It's really crazy. Look at this exclusive. I believe this is Admiral Brett, whatever his name is, the Assistant Secretary for Health, told Breitbart News exclusively on Tuesday that the federal government is developing a broad-based effort consisting of wide-scale testing, surveillance, and contact tracing to be able to control the spread of whatever. This is part of the decision to reopen the economy in the country, coming at the expense of all your rights, of your sovereignty to make an actual free choice. That's what you're giving up for believing their narrative. You're giving up everything. You're putting your life in the hands of people who are greedy, who are evil, and see you as a casualty. And they don't think about you. They just think about what they can gain off of your ignorance. You had the mayor in New York wearing a ghetto handkerchief over his mouth. Well, any scientific person, if you want to use the scientific narrative, knows that will not keep a virus out. But yet they wanted to give a picture of him looking like a total fool, acting like that's going to protect him from breathing something that's scientifically so small. If oxygen can get through that thing, then so can a virus. But whatever. And look at this revised count puts NYC. Revised. They're changing the numbers. They're telling you. But they know people are so stupid. They got people so fear-struck. People have to believe what their scientists and experts, no matter how dumb and inconsistent their so-called guesstimations are. People have to believe it because it validates their own knowledge. Well, I went to school, and I feel good about myself, so I have to trust these people because they went to school to learn something. Otherwise, I'll realize the inconvenient truth that we're all just believing things we've been told without actually knowing, being able to test most of it. And the things that are testable and repeatable, you don't need to go to school for. You can prove it yourself. It's called common sense. It's called logic. This is the intelligent design of a creator. The mind of a creator is logic. The order of the universe. Or not even the universe, the order of creation. I don't even like using that word because we don't know what that means. I haven't been outside this planet. All I've seen is CGI and artist illustrations of what we're being told is outside of this planet. All I can verify in my life is what I've seen and what I know about myself. And the Bible actually gives me truth on that. I know, I've learned from experience that lust is an issue, selfishness is an issue, foolishness is an issue, greed is an issue, being impatient, unwise, all these things give us great, exposes us all. And the Bible gives us this structure that actually aligns with the consequences of our choices. But see, a lot of these people are unbelieving people. See, they can't imagine a world controlled because they believe, well, the people wouldn't do it to themselves. They actually think these people actually have a soul to care. See, when people don't believe in God, they actually don't believe in evil because everything is preference and opinion. What may be evil to you could be beneficial to another. And with everybody being their own personal moral compass, who's to say what's good and evil but the person that it applies to or the person that is detrimental to? That's the world without God. The world that the enemy, the spiritual enemy, that's his greatest weapon. Creating hubris in man. Feeding his own desires to his own destruction. So I just wanted to share this, man. I have so much to talk about, but I just wanted to share this right now. Peace out.